Greetings, heathens and heretics, and welcome to another, an extra bonus episode of In the Abyss because
Oh,
I've got some things to say. Not that,
it's a little
don't
treat.
switch off, don't switch off, don't switch off. It's fine, it's fine. Come back, come back, come back, come back, come back, come back. But not just yet because, I mean, you're here with me, so I suppose I may as well keep
Yeah,
you here
yeah.
as well. You know.
I made it. I thought, well, I had nothing else to do, so I'd pop in, see how you're doing. How you doing?
Oh, I'm wonderful. I'm wonderful. I mean, the last time we recorded, it was nice sunshine, and it's still nice sunshine. So, as British people, we must mention the weather.
Yeah,
Because
it's true. I hope you've got your trouser legs rolled up and your feet in a bucket of water
of
right
course I have.
now.
Of
Yeah,
course I
good,
have.
good,
Yeah,
good.
of
It's
course I have.
proper behaviour. When the sun comes
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
that's what you have to do.
And a questionably warm egg mayo sandwich. So yeah, but right, look,
You've got props.
what I want to talk about is Essex, right? So the main reason is that so to give you a bit of a background story, I moved to Essex 2 years ago, right? And I've always had this thing. I would love to put on a few gigs and things like that. It always seems like fun, and as expensive and as painful as it can be, it has been a whole lot of fun. And it just got me thinking about Essex as a whole. Now, you grew up in London. I've lived in London in the southeast for many years, and we're veterans of London gigs and things like that. And it's
Yeah,
always, there's always something to do. Every night of the week, if you want to go and see a band, regardless of genre, you can go into London and you can see a band, which is great. But there
yeah.
is
Not knocking that.
no, exactly, and it's fucking wonderful if that's what you're into. But there is also like there's a little bit of an expectation. Every band will play London, so it's all good. The reason I want to shout out Essex is in the last 2 years I've been here, we've started putting on these shows at Radio City, and there's loads of other people out here that are doing really fucking cool things. So we'll start with Radio City, obviously the home of Radio City Beer Works. You know where to go, and I mean you've obviously been up to a few shows as well, and there's been a natural growth, isn't there, as things have gone on. Built up to the massive show about three
Absolutely.
weeks ago, which was a wonderful, wonderful night. Our first sold out gig, and it just shows there is life in Essex. There is most definitely a heavy music scene.
Yeah, I mean, I got so Radio City Social was I'd never been to Chelmsford or that neck of the woods really, maybe other than to pass through on a train and kind of wave to everyone as I go through. But yeah, it was my first excuse to pay it a visit, and what a great little venue, great little bar, great location, but most of all, what a great atmosphere.
Yeah,
And I think over the last couple of years, it's just seeing everything grow. So, even the premises itself, they've just taken on the unit next
yeah,
door.
they have. Yeah,
So they're expanding out. So the presence and the reputation of it as a great venue is growing, but so is the venue itself. So everything's kind of expanding. And I just think that is purely down to the enthusiasm and support of, people like yourself and as in Joey and Dan at the venue and everyone else that's involved really has a vested interest in making this the best it can be. And I think that's coming across. And there's this growing energy that's great to see.
yeah, it is, and it does feel like there's a real community there. I see the same people come into the shows every single time. The same, Stuart and Joe. Shout out to the pair of you, the first ones to buy tickets for every single show. I just I can't. I can't thank people enough for showing up to these gigs because people start putting on gigs all over the country, and you do it a few times, and you lose a bit of money, and it sucks, and people just give up. There is a bit of a what's the word? You've got to have some resilience, I think, doing
Mm,
this. But
yeah.
I feel lucky that I'm working with a venue that are just embracing everything that we want to do. Myself and Dan and Ryan, who's the bar manager, all the bands love him. He does all the sound. He just takes care of everybody on the night,
Yeah.
and it's all just part of his job. So it's all of that thrown in together is just such a wonderful thing to be involved with.
Yeah, and I think it's, it's not just about resilience. I think it's also about having vision and kind of knowing what you want it to be, and credit to you guys because I think that's exactly what you've got. You really want to know what you want to build and you know, you know where you're headed, which is great. And it is about it's recognizing and encouraging the fact that people s- and it's great to acknowledge that because we grumble a lot actually on this website about the sort of dwindling crowds at
Yeah,
gigs, and actually maybe it's an interesting point that that's something we've experienced in and around London, but um, maybe going a little bit further afield, you can see there is still that hunger for
yeah.
people to go out and see bands, and maybe it's that they can't get into London, or it's just a little bit too far to travel, or
And
so
the cost as well.
and the
You
costs,
know,
and
20 quid on a train. It soon
right,
adds up. You do that a couple of times a month.
exactly, that's a few Radio City beers in your pocket. So when you look at it that way, so to create something that people are going to recognize as a great thing that they can get to, they can participate in, it's on their doorstep and
Yeah.
they can feel like they're a part of something, is a wonderful endeavor.
Yeah, and we've mentioned it a few times on the podcast, like, you know, obviously on a very, very different scale, but you go back to things like the Lower East Side of New York in the 80s where the hardcore scene, the punk and hardcore scene just exploded and it was all around little neighborhoods and obviously CBGBs and things like that. So you need like it's like a community hub for heavy music, I suppose, and that's what we're trying to achieve. And I think it's happening naturally.
Yeah.
So and it helps that the beer's fucking great. The atmosphere is great, like you say. The actual space itself is really cool. The way they managed to transform it, take all the tables out and make it a proper venue, and it's just so intimate and tight, and
Yeah, and there's such a sense
you
of
know,
positivity there. That's what
yeah,
I always pick up on. You go to other venues and naming no names. I'm not really talking about anywhere specifically, but you come across venues where it just feels a little bit edgy. Whether that's the staff there a bit standoffish or the crowd just feels a little bit off.
yeah,
Every single time I've been to Radio City, there's just this welcoming atmosphere that just feels really positive.
yeah.
So I love it. But take a moment, tell us what else is going on in that neck of the woods.
See, this is the thing. So I don't want this to be too self-indulgent. But it, like I said at the start of the episode, it did get me thinking about everything else that's going on. So this is, I'm going to list some stuff. I'm just going to give shout out to a whole lot of people who, across Essex and a little bit further out as well, are doing lots of cool stuff. So obviously we mentioned Radio City Social. Drop the Ego down in Southend are doing some fucking phenomenal stuff. A couple of nights ago, or last night as we were recording this, you had Burner and Underdark. You got Inhuman Nature coming up with Overpower. They've got a couple of sort of all day festival type things going on. Fucking brilliant, putting real investment. They've got some international bands coming in as well. Things like that. They're really kind of pushing the boundaries. Dead Species do stuff all over Essex. They're bringing Mastiff back to Essex, Colchester in August, I believe. They
Ah,
announced that straight after our show. So
yeah,
we'll be getting us, I think, Three Wise Monkeys in Colchester. Um, Impious Spirit Productions, they're just relentless with what they do. Just endless gigs, local bands, unsigned bands. They do karaoke nights or rockyoke nights, as they call them, all that kind of thing. Colchester, Chelmsford, even out as far as Cambridge, they're going. So, they're kind of spreading the word. I think 66 Bar in Cambridge, which is another one that,
right. Okay.
has got a great reputation.
That's not one I know.
No,
That's
but so when Froglord play in Chelmsford in June, the night before they're playing 66 Bar in Cambridge, so we're
right.
kind of doing that as like a weekender. So to be able to do that in this part of the world is fucking great. Hotbox in Chelmsford, so it's a few doors up, another one under an archway from Radio City. It's a little bit bigger, and they've had some crazy stuff in there. Crazy stuff. You had people like Frank Turner in there and things like that. It's
Right, right.
yeah, Fatboy Slim did a DJ set in there. So it's,
Yeah.
yeah, and it holds about 110, 115 people.
Yeah.
It's kind of
That's
black
mad.
car sort of size. So,
I'll quickly interject with a Fatboy Slim story because
oh, hello.
the only DJ I've ever seen that I've thought I've kind of appreciated in the same way that I have a band, just really captured and owned a crowd as someone that's a lot more used to a rock crowd than than a club night or a dance crowd or anything like that. So I'm sure in that scene there's a lot of examples of this. But I remember, uh, I guess the point being, it's like if you'd asked me, you know, do you want to go and see a DJ? I'd be like, "Ah, yeah, fuck off, no interest." And it was just by pure accident I ended up seeing Fatboy Slim in a little club called The End in London, and it changed my mind. You know, it completely blew me away. It was excellent, really good.
Better play Fat Boy Slim. The old
So there you
badge of
go.
honor from a grumpy old metalhead, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Chalk
Yeah.
that one up as a win.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, that's the hot box, and look, you know, possibly maybe looking to work with them as well in the future. Who knows? Um, Down in Southend, you've got the Fickle Pickle, you've got the Alex, you've got the 21, the legendary Chinneries. I mean, Chinneries has hosted everybody from fucking Carcass to Bat Sabbath, you know, right on the seafront, holds about 400 people, legendary place, absolutely legendary, sort of Southend through and through. Colchester, I've mentioned Three Wise Monkeys already. You've got Code up there as well, two great small venues, and the incredible Colchester Arts Centre,
Of
which
course.
which we love, don't we? You know,
Of
it's
course.
such
Yeah.
a great place to see bands.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen Obituary there, we've seen Green Lung
Yeah.
there, and every time it's like, okay, you know, when can we come back?
Yeah, it sounds great. It looks great. It's just something about, you know, being in an old church that, especially with Green Lung,
Yeah.
that was very cool. It
Yeah.
was very, very cool. Bands, Power Failure, fucking great band. Check them out. If you're into your power violence, full on fucking 60-second long hardcore songs, go check them out. And they're phenomenal live. Berenice, who are playing in Chelmsford this weekend with Thrasher Wolf and Chemical Storm at Radio City. So come along to that. £7 a ticket for three awesome bands.
Can't
So
argue with that.
yeah, get along to that because it's going to be another great night. Divided Kingdom, Apollo. I mean, we had Apollo with Dunes in September last year. There's a whole lot of talent going on there, and those kids, fucking amazing. Reverend Son, Fate's Messenger, Beyond Extinction. These are just a few bands that to mention. It's just, it's really, really healthy. But the most important thing is, and we've said this countless times on the podcast, is got to keep going to these shows. Got to keep buying the tickets. It's £5, £10, you know, 12, 13, whatever it is. It's not a lot of money. It's a pint and a half in a lot of pubs. It's a fucking glass of wine.
Exactly. And the
You
important
know?
thing is you're going to get something out of it. You know, these are
Yeah.
great bands. These are great nights. These are people that really care about putting on
Yep.
something that's entertaining, that's fun, that's going to give you everything you want from a night of heavy music.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
that's what it's all about. And you don't know you're going to be seeing potentially the next big thing. You know, all the bands you see in arenas and academies and things like that, they've all started somewhere.
yeah,
They've all played in a pub.
yeah,
Green Lung are a prime example, aren't they?
yeah,
That
yeah,
natural growth to where they're getting to now. And 2 years' time, they'll be probably headlining Bloodstock.
yep,
So
yeah,
you just don't know. Get out there, get out to these gigs. Some gigs are even free, some are donation on the door. It
mm,
helps keep venues going, it keeps bands touring. It's just so important that people get out to those shows.
yeah. No, and I fully endorse that message.
Of course you do. Of course you do. Otherwise, I'd just kick you off.
Oh, fair enough.
But look, it's not just Essex as well, because in about 2.5 weeks' time, we'll be down in Bristol to celebrate the fourth anniversary of Black City Records,
We will. God, I love Bristol. I love Black City Records.
the Bristol Porridge Weekender.
Yeah, the Bristol Porridge Weekender, as it will forever be known as. But there you go. Maybe that's a bit of an in joke. I don't know. Google it. You find out what it's all about.
Yeah,
Possibly the most chaotic episode of In the Abyss that's ever been
without a
broadcast.
doubt, the most chaotic episode
Um,
we've ever done.
but you know, I think that leads us nicely onto a good point because I think you know, if you're interested or you enjoy what In the Abyss do, certainly in terms of the podcast and stuff we talk about online, you know, there are other ways to get involved, really. And like there's the aforementioned nights at Radio City Social. So Joey T is very much involved in putting on live music. Radio City is the venue. You know, that's a project that's been ongoing between the guys there and In the Abyss, well, for a couple of years now.
Almost a couple of
So,
years. Yeah, we're getting there. Yeah.
and it is going from strength to strength, and it's so much fun. And I can say that as someone that's drunk many a pint. And some of those memories are very, very hazy, but it's always good fun.
Almost as hazy as the beer.
Almost, yeah, almost as hazy as a beer. But also, we're doing some DJ sets as well. So at the Black City Records birthday weekender coming up in Bristol. What's the date? Remind me of the date.
It's you know what? It's perfectly. It's Easter weekend, so we'll be down there Saturday the 19th and Sunday the 20th. So Saturday the
Yeah,
19th is headlined by Mutagenic Host, which is just fucking awesome.
there you go.
Um, and some other bands. I've
Okay.
honestly, apologies,
Yeah.
I've forgotten the lineup.
Mutagenic Host, favorites of the podcast. We've had them on here. But yeah, In the Abyss will be doing a DJ set on the Saturday night, are
On the
we?
Saturday night after Mutagenic Host, yeah, there's no late license on the Sunday because praise the Lord, it's Easter and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
Bollocks.
But we'll be at the Griffin in Bristol, representing there. The Griffin on the
That is a
um
phenomenal t-shirt.
it is, and they're available at the venue behind the bar. Just ask, tell them I sent you, and I
They'll
don't get
tell you to
anything
fuck off.
exactly. But it's going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, it's always a good weekend. We'll be there. We're well up for it. But as I said, it's just another thing that In the Abyss
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
And we'd love to kind of have you all there and come and have a chat and let's talk about metal and other
Well,
stuff.
if you absolutely insist, that's at the end of the day, that's all we want to do, and it is listen to metal, talk metal, just be fully involved. So yeah, come down to the Griffin if you come into the gigs. Certainly on the like I said on the Saturday night, stay late, have a few beers with us, listen to some great tunes. We promise you the just the best tunes, the best tunes, and maybe the odd curveball in there here and there.
That sound like Donald Trump there. Oh, we got the best tunes. Our tunes, they're better than other tunes. Yeah.
They
I
fucking
mean,
are.
I can't do impressions, but yeah, details are all on the interweb. So
Yeah, they're on our socials and they're obviously on Black City Records and the Griffin socials, Bristol Metal Quarter, all of that. So
yeah,
you can go and find it. I think tickets are like a tenner a night. It's actually 4 days. The birthday weekender. The first night, yeah, the
imagine the
first night.
hangover.
Oh, look, it was bad enough last year, and it was just the 2 days. We'll only be there for the 2 nights, but there's 4 days, so try and get involved in it if you're down that way. And again, it's supporting a great venue, the Griffin. It's just such a cool place.
Yeah,
It's like the epicenter of heavy metal in Bristol.
yeah.
The Bristol Metal Quarter.
Well, they call it the Bristol Metal Quarter, and that's it sits in very close proximity to Black City Records,
Yeah,
which is a fantastic record shop. All your heavy metal needs catered for. Love it.
and more. So there you go. So hopefully we'll see some people there. And if not that, those of you in Essex, like I said, get down to Radio City Social this Saturday night. £7 a ticket. Thrasher Wolf, Chemical Storm, two absolutely killer newish UK thrash bands, and Berenice, who are going to rip your fucking face off in the best possible way, of course.
Of course. Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully see you there. I'll put a ticket link to that in the comments on here. You can go to our socials as well, or just go to Eventbrite and search Thrasher Wolf Essex. You'll find it. If not, just message us and we can give you the link. Can't make it any easier for you, can we?
Easy peasy, I
Yeah,
think is the term.
lemon and squeezy. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's commonly
So hopefully
used.
see some of you Saturday night. For the rest of you, we'll be back again some point with another load of waffle.
Oh, waffles. Oh, yeah. Yes, please.
A waffle party.
Yeah.
But it's heavy metal waffle, so it's the best kind of waffle. So there you go. But anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Chuck some comments below. Come and tell us all about your love of Essex as well, because everybody loves Essex. And I'm not talking about little dogs in handbags and fucking white teeth and matching tracksuits.
Well, exactly that.
We're
Or
talking
or
riffs.
throw some comments in about where else
Yeah,
where
what we're
else is there
missing.
a little pocket of promoters, bands that are just creating their own scene and doing great things, because we'd love to pay you a visit.
Yeah, come and give us a shout out. Any excuse for some riffs and a few beers, isn't it? Isn't it? Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you next week. Stay metal.